Hey y'all, it's Jesse from DatumSpeed Studios, and in this video we will be breaking down how we made our horror short film, Shadow. So to start with, the screenwriting was a relatively simple process. We actually started trying to figure out how to write scripts properly, but this was still somewhat of a quickly thrown together script using Arc Studio. And it worked, so why not? Shadow was an absolute blast to make and was definitely our highest overall quality out of everything we've ever made, mainly because now we at least know a little bit more about lighting and different cinematography techniques and stuff like that. Also, similar to Paralleled, we didn't record any of our audio on set as we didn't really think we had a great microphone. For these scenes,
Hello? Hey, this isn't funny!
We did use a cheap little lavalier kit, which worked for the time being, but at this time I did not have a decent mic, so from now on I will be recording everything practically, but for this we used lavs. As I just said, I did all of my sound design in post using the D80D3 Pro, and I just walked around my house recording things. So the next part of our editing process is the VFX, so for that I'm going to send it on over to Miles.
Hey, so the special effects for this were quite the journey. I had a lot of difficulties. I have never dealt with animating characters or rigs in general, and I also haven't done very many smoke simulations. I've dabbled a little bit, but not enough to really know what I'm doing, so there was a lot of problem solving that went into this. It was both extremely painful and extremely fun. Seeing the face sort of click together at the end, it was amazing and a great feeling, but okay, this is the project. So as you can see as I move around, there are a couple of things. We have a smoke simulation, the camera, and then here's the rig for the face. Now, if you want to know how I got this face, I'm linking CG Matter's amazing facial tracking tutorial in the description. It's generally just a really informative tutorial, so even if you don't want to do this, it's great to watch it. If we go ahead and hop into the camera view, you can sort of see the final composition pretty well. I'm just going to disable the subdivision modifier so I can move around a bit better. I did the hair last, so we'll start with that. It's pretty simple hair stuff, but you can see right here I have the force turned down all the way so that the turbulence for the smoke simulation doesn't affect the hair like it would normally. From there, I just went into the particle edit tab and I just tried to make it as messy as I could. The subdivision modifier does make it look a little bit different, but you're just going to have to ignore that. The teeth were just this model that I made sharper in edit mode. There was a constraint that parented it to this track from the facial capture. That constraint no longer exists because I had to turn it into keyframes to try to get it to be a bit more responsive. And then the bottom teeth were parented to, I think, this track. The chest was also just parented to it. Let's check out the materials in rendered view.
A few moments later.
This is what the materials look like rendered in cycles. Now, shading tab and material preview.
A few moments later.
Now that it's finally loaded, here you can see the HDRI. It's just a desaturated version of the default Courtyard HDRI. Switch over to the objects material. I'm using this root texture from Blender Kit. If you want to use that texture, you're going to need to install the Blender Kit add-on. If you're in 3.0, you're going to need to download it, but if you're in an earlier version, you just need to check it in Preferences. It's a great add-on, you should get it regardless. I believe I just turned up the subsurface and the displacement. And then you can see it's mixed with a zombie skin texture, also from Blender Kit, with the vertex color. You can see that here. Now the teeth texture is actually this limestone rock texture, also from Blender Kit, that I've yellowed and green slightly with curves and hue and saturation nodes. It's the only one when you type up limestone, so it should be easy to find. The gums for the teeth are just the zombie skin texture from earlier with the subsurface way up and the roughness down. And finally, the smoke. It's pretty basic fluid stuff that took me longer than it probably should have. To get the smoke to really flow over the head and make the face visible, I used a weight paint to paint the back of the head and set that as the emission. That really makes it flow over and look really cool in my opinion. Then the object surface emission is set really high and there's no volume emission to get the motion that I want. And then of course there's a turbulence to make it look actually cool. And that's really it. Again, please go check out CG Matter's tutorial. It's in the description. And I guess that's it. Bye.
I'm gonna use this shot for color grading, so let's get into it. The first note will be noise reduction. In temporal noise reduction, reduce the frames to 3, motion type to better, and keep the range at medium. Then turn the luma and chroma threshold to around 15. Add a node. This node will be our white balance node. Click on the auto white balance eyedropper and click on a part of the shot that's supposed to be white. Add another node. This will be our look. I'm going to throw on a cabin in the woods LUT from Trine Digital's Horror LUTs pack. Link in the description. To me, the LUT isn't strong enough, so I'll add another node and drag the LUT onto it again. Now as you can see, it's a bit intense, so I'm gonna hop into the key tab and bring down the gain a bit. Now add another node. Then add 2 more parallel nodes. This will be our highs, mids, and lows. On the top node, head in the log wheels tab and find where the highs are. For this shot, it's around the window. Now change it to the desired color. Click on the next node and repeat the process. And now the bottom node. Now add a parallel node. These will be our advanced contrast nodes. Hop in the qualifier tab and press Shift H to bring up the highlighted zones. On the bottom node, turn up the low soft and bring it up a little bit. This will identify the direct highs. Now do the same for the bottom node, but reversed. Now raise and lower the gain on each node to get the desired look. Add a node. In curves, go to the hue versus saturation tab and bring down the saturation on your unwanted hues. Now add another node. Switch to luminance versus saturation and bring down the highs. For our final node, we are going to add a vignette. In the window tab, add a circle. Now stretch it out to the desired vignette size and soften it. Then invert it and bring down the gain until you find something that you like. And we're done.
I have not done. There goes my gel.